Why is it so dirty?
My father died before he taught me to care.
It's a depressing sentiment, but it's delivered in a kind of proud and excited and even happy way.
FlynnsArcade.
Hi, this is FlynnsArcade, and this is my video about the Venture Bros episode, The Buddy System, written by Doc Hammer, with special reference to this book here. Before we start, please could you do me a massive solid and give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And now, let's go. Dr. Venture opens up the compound to the public in an attempt to cash in on his past glory. A lot of children show up, including a large mysterious teenage boy, who may be a long-lost son of a person who lives there. The episode is rounded off nicely with an attack by a feral gorilla. Style. This episode is one of the few that doesn't start with the usual title sequence. Instead, there's an advertisement for Rusty's day camp.
Hey kids, it's time for adventure at Rusty's Day Camp for Boy Adventurers, the largest privately run day camp for budding super scientists in the area.
This choice gives the episode a fun holiday theme. In the background of this clip, there are photos of the real-life Doc Hammer doing fun things when he was a kid, which also adds to the sense of frivolity. However, this is undermined by the ominous-sounding legal disclaimer, which foreshadows the terrifying encounter with the feral gorilla.
What is that?
Okay, kids, so Eden. Self-contained. We should probably get back to the campgrounds. Arts and crafts.
The last few episodes I've made videos about contain some pretty dark themes. A Faustian pact, references to war crimes, and a terrible house party at Sergeant Hatred's place. But this one feels like a real breather episode, and it's mostly light-hearted and funny. I really enjoyed Victor Echo November and Tag Cell You're It, and this one is up there with those two. That said, the scene with the gorilla is pretty disturbing, as is the fate of young Kyle.
There you are. I've your sweet boy here.
You sure he's okay? He's limp, and did you...
We shaped his head for the sack race. Wind resistance. Yeah, first place. Then in boy adventurer tradition, we poured victory plasma over him. Good fun. He'll be fine.
Cultural references. Suicide Girls.
Guy could totally trounce your dad's lover.
Who?
Your dad's lover in the bunny suit. The one who picked Action Johnny up like he was gonna totally hump him.
Dude, do you have any idea what a dork you are? I mean, any? You think you're all hardcore? But you are so Dave Matthews.
You're lucky you look like a suicide girl.
Suicide Girls is described on Wikipedia as an online community website which revolves around pin-up photography models known as Suicide Girls. I could talk at length about this particular reference. Back in 2008, when this episode was first broadcast, I was a very active member of said community. I used to log on to the website every day, and I even did a photo shoot for them. For this reason, I was incredibly excited to see Dermit compare Triana to a suicide girl the first time I saw this episode, and I'm really happy to talk about this reference now. Back in those days, the Venture Bros was really popular on Suicide Girls, so I'm sure that the shout-out meant a lot to a lot of people. I recently read a comment somewhere that Adult Swim is basically the only network to have understood and embraced online culture, and I couldn't agree more. I've recently been getting into Smiling Friends, and that really goes for it, and it was really nice to see that trend really coming to life in this episode. Inspector Gadget.
Oh, and that's not all. Sometimes you get to hang out with people who were famous once, like Cher, and the guy who did the voice for Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget was an animation from the 1980s about a world-famous cyborg police officer, and is perhaps best remembered for its incredibly catchy theme tune. Coco the Gorilla.
I know their language. Coco! Fine animal, person gorilla. Browse, drink, polite, nipple there, hurry. From there! Billy! Billy, I need a kitten! They like kittens.
Coco was a real gorilla who was taught sign language by a scientist, who famously had several pet cats. She had a gentle temperament and was nothing like the Ventures gorilla. P. Diddy.
You should read his rider. He requested 20 bars of Libre 2000, 1 bottle of Cristal, 1 bottle of Dom Perignon, and 2 cases of Tropicana Twisters.
Right. Who was that? Van Halen?
No, that was Sean Puffy Combs' daddy.
I included a joke about Gary Glitter in a previous video, so I figured I would also include P. Diddy in this one. Back in 2008, P. Diddy was mostly best known for being a highly respected musician with rather extravagant tastes. A bit like Gary Glitter was at some point. The Venture Brothers.
Stop calling me Pop. If these kids find out that their hero has had sex, their heads will explode.
But I want to show my new friend.
This isn't all about you, Hank. These kids want to see Rusty Venture. Maybe when there's a cartoon called The Venture Brothers, it'll be different.
This is really meta, but the Venture Bros itself is a cultural reference in this episode. Character development. Dermit. This episode introduces a new character in the form of Dermit.
What's that? It's huge. It can't be a kid.
Dean, that's a teenager.
But we don't look like that. Oh crap, he's coming over here. I gotta go.
Dude, what is your problem?
Doc and Jackson based him on 2 different boys, who they both met when they were growing up. He's a very believable character, but he really polarises Hank and Dean. Hank is in awe of him, but Dean absolutely hates him. And Brock hates Dermit just as much as Dean does.
This kid's insane.
Yeah, that's right. Better work with.
What? I'm not going anywhere. What are you doing?
All right, junior adventurers.
Their argument is something to behold. Because of their chemistry, or lack of, and the fact that Dermit is a gigantic blonde, it initially appears that he is Brock's son. But in the art book, Doc says that really early on, they decided that this wasn't the case, but they wanted to see if people accepted that he was. If the fans had decided that he wasn't his son, then they would have made him Brock's son. Action Johnny! In the art book, Doc says that this was the moment when they weren't allowed to use the character Johnny Quest anymore, so he became Action Johnny. We already saw him back in 20 Years to Midnight, and the Doctor is Sim, but he is really struggling as a result of his traumatic past as a boy adventurer.
Oh, wait. Action Johnny's hand isn't up. Why is that? Does he not have a father? No! Fathers are caring and protective men, and I don't have one of those.
Dr. Z. Johnny Quest's nemesis, Dr. Z, is a genuinely nice guy.
You'll never lose it. Seriously, you told me Johnny was clean now.
He's been dry for a month, but he's been downing Xanax like they were Cheetos. He'll be fine. Just get in your little helicopter and do a few passes.
Okay. Can I shoot at him?
I don't think so.
How about scorpions? Can I drop scorpions?
Dr. Mrs. the Monarch.
Man, oh manatee! Where did you get that number?
You like it? It's the prototype for my Dr. Mrs. the Monarch costume.
I don't want to be picky, but you're gonna trip on those wings.
This is the first time we see Dr. Mrs. the Monarch's iconic outfit, but I made a video about this a few weeks ago where I discussed it at length, so please check that out if you'd like to see more about this. Dr. Venture. Dr. Venture is very proud during this episode because he gets to relive his glory days in front of a load of little kids. However, none of them can link the start of the Rusty Venture cartoon with the broken man in front of them. He also comes out with this gem.
A fully enclosed, self-sustaining biological environment designed to prepare a single male and female astronaut for long-term space station inhabitancy.
Why is it so dirty?
My father died before he taught me to care.
I just love James Urbaniak's delivery of that line. It's just so funny. It's like, it's a depressing sentiment, but it's delivered in a kind of proud and excited and even happy way. So I just love it. Jokes! This is one of the all-time funniest episodes of the Venture Bros. Dermit has some brilliant lines in this.
Questions? Yes, the kid that's bigger than everyone else.
Yeah, it's Pat. Pat in the crotch.
Yeah, is this gonna suck the whole time, or is this like the only part that sucks? I just want to gauge how much suck I have to friggin' sit through.
Any real questions about the tour?
I just love the way Hank's like sucking up to Dermit, but he's just, you know, he's just not got as smart a mouth as his. I just love that. Dr. Z's reaction to seeing the state of action Johnny.
You told me it would be all cool. Then I get here and Johnny's wired. Yes, Dr. Venture! Wired like a time bomb attached to a killer whale! Set to go off the moment you try to free yourself!
Dermot spends the whole episode winding up Dean, and the final straw is when he starts giving it out to Triana. And then this happens.
Your boyfriend.
That child is a spinning ladder top! Are you sure he's your son?
This is also character development, because it proves that Dermot isn't as tough as he makes himself out to be, and that Dean is a bit of a psycho when he gets going. Also, it's really nice that when he finally did lose it, it was to protect Triana's honour, so, you know, that's another little bit of character development. He'll put up with Dermot's nonsense up to a point, but then when he was rude to Triana, that was it, and it just sent him crazy. Due to a mix-up with timings, Sergeant Hatred shows up to menace the Ventures at the wrong moment, and he's set upon by some kids in attendance.
You can't just kill my... What is this now? Come on, Venture! We gotta get the kids off me. I got a court order that says I can't be around these sexy little children.
His PDF background has reared its ugly head again. After my Home is Where the Hate Is video from last week, I discussed Sergeant Hatred's redemption arc with a few fans, and I can now see that it has already started. He's doing everything in his power to keep away from kids. He has a long way to go, but at least he's trying. I quite like the visual gag of the Monarchs eating a TV dinner in full costume.
How did you work with these two idiots all those years? I can't believe they missed the tour. You look at them.
You can't just send my moppets out to arch your former enemy.
I also think this is a bit of a meta joke, because the Monarch watching the Ventures on his laptop makes me really aware that I also tend to watch them obsessively on my laptop. Rating 10 out of 10. I have seen this episode countless times and it's a particular favourite of mine. It has all the elements of a brilliant Venture Bros episode. It's really funny, but we also have some major character development. The gorilla attack and the fate of young Carl give the episode a real horrific edge, which we've come to expect and look forward to in the Venture Bros. The only negative thing I can come up with about this episode is the Order of the Triad's safety presentation.
And if you smoked, we'd know it, because we have a smoke detector in every room. With fresh batteries. Remember, if a smoke detector doesn't work, the silence could be deadly.
When did we lose him?
It's the only part of the episode which I don't enjoy, but this is a massive stretch because it is hilarious to see people, like the Order of the Triad, who normally do really exciting things involving ghosts and vampires, giving out smoke alarm advice and losing their audience as a result. So let me know what you think. Did you enjoy this episode as much as I do? What was your favourite part of it? Did you think Dermit was Brock's son? Have you ever attended a day camp which you saw advertised on TV? I don't think they have such a thing in the UK, but Doc Hammer has obviously been to one. So there must be a thing in other countries, so please let me know if you've ever attended one. If you don't know what to write, please drop me an Ignore Me, or a Go Team Venture, or a Spanakopter, or a Sphinx, because apparently comments really help with the algorithm. I've recently joined Blue Sky Social, so please follow me on there. I put a link in my bio. Doc and Jackson are on there, plus Ken Plume who wrote the art book, so there's quite a bit of Venture Bros activity on there already. If you're new to this channel, please check out my playlist. I've made loads of videos about the Venture Bros which you might enjoy. I upload videos every week, and next week I'm going to do one on the Venture Bros episode, Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. If you've enjoyed this video, please could you drop me a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm on a mission to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I really do appreciate the support. So that's all from me. Unless anything comes up in the meantime, I'll see you next Sunday.